Yo guys, what is good? I hope you're all doing absolutely amazing and are trading safely in the markets. It's your boy VGOK here and I'm back with another video for you guys today. So in today's video I'm going to be going over a full trade breakdown for a GBP JPY buy scenario. It was a counter trend trade in this scenario and it did achieve me in the end a 1 to 15 risk to reward ratio, and it was executed late within it was sort of near London close, sort of in the middle of New York session. So what we've got for you guys right now is we've got the screenshots for you. So here we've got the before screenshot, and as you can see I was using this whole sell before buy region. You can see that above this point here it breaks structure. So you can see the candlesticks close above here, so we've got a good break of structure. So treating this just as a POI, just as a zone to monitor. We're going to watch how price obviously gets into that zone. We see it fills in this imbalance right in here and gives a really good reaction away. So we had the point of interest, we had the reaction into the point of interest, and then the rejection off away from that. We did get a positive break of structure in this minor structure right in here, above this point here, and that was confirmation enough to go for the buyers. And as you can see, I was looking to actually hedge myself in, so just in case this did decide to continue to be bearish, I'd be looking to get in on the buys here just like I did, and then as price comes up here, I'd be looking to get into some sells as well, and then just managing the two positions accordingly. Moving on to the after screenshot, you guys can now see, and I've gone up to the 5-minute time frame on this screenshot. There was a previous zone in here which I'm going to go through with you guys in just a moment. So as you guys can see, it came very close to this previous point of interest which I was interested in, which obviously I've labeled by this black box right here. And we got a sort of movement away. It was a sort of break of structure, but wasn't sure, which is why I just treated that as a point of interest and not an entry. So treated that as a point of interest and actually got probably a better entry than I would have just by entering there. So waited, got the good reaction up, saw the minor break of structure on the smaller time frame and entered with stop loss below the wick in here, and then looking to target up in this higher time frame supply zone, because on the higher time frame this was a downtrend, so I was looking to take it no further than this point right here. So obviously here was the buy that I took on that 29th of September. Obviously, as you can see, in that moment, the day before, it was a heavy downtrend. It broke structure to the downside below all of this, and then we got a continuation down the following morning. So it was very much in a downtrend, on higher time frames, but it was a counter trend trade in the end, which did go to plan. And basically what I want to draw your guys' attention to before we get into the actual execution, the day of execution, is just look at the zone which it's potentially reacting off in that moment. So just moving back to this area here, so back to a couple of days before, about a week before, on the 23rd of September, we can see that we've got a buildup of liquidity below these wicks right in here, and we've got a potential base within this black box, and that was the black box I was talking about earlier. As you can see, price just about it gets down to that area. It does take out the liquidity, which is the most important part, and then it just doesn't quite tap into this zone right here. So that was the sort of zone I was sort of looking at, probably in terms of if I was setting alerts and stuff, they'd definitely be set on those equal lows, maybe even slightly higher, just in case we get the mitigation slightly higher. But yeah, more or less, that was where I was looking to sort of start looking at bullish side of things, short term. Then changing it down, so just cutting the chart off so we know where to stop price, and cutting it down to that 5-minute time frame, we can really see now, how price got into that area, gave a good reaction up. We treated that first rejection zone as the point of interest. So looking down at the 1 minute, I think would be the best thing right now, so we can see all of the detail of the price action and the market structure. So again, we've got downwards movement of price, this last sell to buy area, just like I mentioned earlier on, and as we put it back into replay mode once again, so there we go, that's the point of interest. We want to see it getting into this area, and obviously as we can see, we've got this imbalance fill for it to potentially come into and fill, so that's what we're going to be hoping for. And then just also we want to be looking at the market structure, just keep making sure that structure has broken, in this moment. So we've got high points in here, so we've got the high, a low point, lower high, a lower low, It's lower high right in here. We do get it making lower lows in here. There's the lower high on the retracement, and then it goes on to make that final lower low. So as we can see, these are the structural points, and then it's past this structural point right in here that it gets broken. You can also, argue that this was that lower high that led to the lower low, but either here or here, they both get broken in the end, which is what we want to be seeing anyway. So as we forward the price, that's that positive break of structure above. So we've got confirmation in terms of structure, and then now we just want to be seeing how it reacts into this point of interest, even if it does react into that point of interest. So as we forward the price a bit more, right there, I'll stop it. And again, we're going to look at the market structure once more in this minor piece of structure right in here, this minor sort of move down. So we've got the high point in here, and it's probably going to be easier to see, if you could go down onto the 30 and 15 second time frames, you'd be able to see it a lot more as well. But you've got the high, you've got a low, and then you've got this sort of doji coming back up for the lower high, and then it going to continue to this lower low, and then the important one being this one right here. That's that lower high which goes to create a further lower low. So that's definitely the significant one, and obviously you can see it in this rejection up from this previous imbalance fill which we talked about. You can see structure is broken very nicely in there. So the significant structure point that was broken was this one in blue, and that gives us confirmation to go for these entries now. So what I've basically done for the entry on this is just go near the wick of that last sell to buy a candle. Sometimes you can argue, you can go to the imbalance fill all the way down in here, but again, looking at the stop loss that we were dealing with at the time, and I think spreads were sort of chopping and changing around. It was coming up to London close around that 5 PM time, but as we can see, the stop loss that we were dealing with, was pretty good at around 6 pips right there, and looking to target in that zone where we were looking. We were definitely looking around that 1 to 15 mark up in that zone right there, as you can see. So it was then just a case of playing price, seeing how it goes on, and as we can see, we got the entry fairly quickly in there. We got the entry quite nicely in there, and as you can see, as price progressed a couple more candles, you saw that we were in profits, and it was just watching this play out overnight. Normally I do like to close my positions by sort of 4 or 5 PM, but because this was a slightly later entry during that New York session, I was happy to hold this. And obviously, after this point, after it's created, further higher highs, continuing that trend, is broken above this consolidation in here as well. I'm happy to move my position to risk-free, move my stop loss into a bit of profit just to protect the position. And as we forward the price and see how it goes overnight, let's go on to the 15 minutes so we can see how it progresses. And overnight, obviously, as you can see throughout Asian session, it does move higher, which is a good sign. And then we get into that London session the following day. It's created equal highs already up here, which is what I've labeled here. So, and it has started to move slightly sideways, but we're hoping for that manipulation and then a move higher. And as you see there, we hit that final TP of 1 to 15 very nicely right in there. And that manipulation before going higher, we didn't quite get that, but we did get a really good accumulation of price just after the London Open. And that there, with that following break of structure right in here, we've got that rally, base rally, that goes on to take out these highs, and we get another reaccumulation of price within here that goes on, and we finally hit our final TP of 1 to 15 from the previous day's position. So there we have that full breakdown of that counter trend GBP/JPY buy scenario, which in the end it gave us that 1 to 15 to reward ratio. If you really enjoyed the video and felt that you learned something and got value, then please do give it a like, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button too if you're new around here. Also, stay up to date with future video releases. Please do click the bell to turn the post notifications on as well. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video for more of that trading sauce.